It's kind of like up at bat. Like the more you get up to bat, the more chances are of having a home run. But so say like in the course of a year, you only get up to bat 12 times. I mean, what's the likelihood that you're going to hit a home run in those 12?
New music during quarantine? How's that going?
Oh my God, yeah. So I'm writing a song a day. I've been doing that for 2 years now, like clockwork, like every single day, because I fully bought into the get to quality through quantity, and it's absolutely true. Like I mean, I've been producing for like 28 years, and I've tried every method you could imagine, and this. I wish I could go back in time like 20 years ago and tell myself, dude, just write a song every single day. And that's the answer, because it is. It's totally the answer. It's yielded results that I've wanted like my entire life. And that's the way to go, I'm convinced. What do you guys think about quantity?
100%. I fully agree. I think because you can improve like exponentially on those concepts and they're like very fresh in your mind. So as you're like redoing it every day, like I'm fully convinced as a programmer, I've always felt like taking time away from the problem is super vital because your subconscious sort of figures stuff out. And I feel like the same is very true with producing. And as you're like instilling these workflow habits, because that's all your sound really is. It's like the culmination of habits that you develop over time. It's like as these things are fresh simmering in your mind and you're off doing whatever until your next session the next day, it's like your mind is coming up with all sorts of variations on how to do something 10% different here and 5% different here and whatever. And it might seem like at the time you're doing everything like formulaically if you're not consciously like giving yourself little challenges or whatever, but I'm convinced you could run the same formula every day and just show up and do the work, write a song, and in 3 months, those little 5-10% differences are going to add up to like a totally, I don't want to say different workflow, but like different sound through that process.
I agree, absolutely, completely. And the thing about the gift of doing it every day is the gift of detachment, because there's just so much content that you can't get attached to any of it because tomorrow you'll be doing something totally different, right? So detachment is key. When you get too attached to something, you're not as willing to take risks and experiment, and then the longer you invest in the song, like the harder it is to become the editor because you get too attached to all the elements that you put into it. So it's the gift of detachment, but it's also you develop a keen sense for when something's gonna work and when something's not gonna work. Whereas like years ago when I'd be working on a song, I'd have no idea, is this thing going to work or not? Maybe if I put in more time, it'll be great, right? But what I'm realizing now is like I could sense pretty quickly like whether or not it's going to be release worthy or whether or not it's just the daily practice and it's going to be mediocre, right? Like I get that sense really quickly these days. I don't know. What about you guys? Like, when you're working on something, at what point do you, like, how long does it take for you to say, like, oh, this is release worthy, or oh no, this is just a mediocre thing I'm working on?
I wish I could take more notes from your process and apply it. Like, we even had a conversation, like, what was that, like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where I was like, asking you how you structure your daily practice, because I want to do that more. I just like I get too in the weeds when I sit down to write a piece of music, and like it takes me so long to get to the point where I know if it's good or not. I just need to sit down and like write a chord progression every day, or like write a guitar riff every day or something, because it's always the songs where I like start working on and then land on something like a chord progression that is really special in my eyes. And those are the songs that end up being great. But like my brain always goes like, man, you know how long it takes you to get to that point. Like you can't do that in 30 minutes. So I like end up just like doing something else with that time that I could spend, you know, on a daily habit like that. And so you're definitely an inspiration for me, at least, on keeping that quantity of output up to get to those types of ideas. Because like you said, quantity through quality is 100% a fact. If I set aside a Saturday to work on music and write a whole song, it doesn't always end up in an amazing song, even if I give myself the whole day, because like the idea that you run with has to be great at the start. Like you said, you kind of know like if this is going to be the one or if it's just going to be another one. Not another one in the DJ Khaled sense. But,
yeah, more so like the way I look at it is like this is just going to be mediocre. Like 80% of the stuff I work on is mediocre, and 20% is the release worthy stuff. So I could tell like, oh, this is just, it's not going to be. It might be okay and it could be good, but it's not release worthy, which is fine because then I kind of like look at it. It's like going to the gym, right? Like it's all right. I'm at the gym. I'm working out.
Right. That's more than half the battle.
Yeah, showing up. So like it's kind of like I was thinking today, like a metaphor. It's kind of like up at bat. Like the more you get up to bat, the more chances are of having a home run. But like so say like in the course of a year, you only get up to bat 12 times. I mean, what's the likelihood that you're going to hit a home run in those 12 up at bats, right? So
I love that analogy. That's so accurate.
Right?
So accurate, because even the best ones, even the greatest players of all time, it's like one out of three. You just get on base. How often are you going to hit a home run?
Yeah, totally.
You get like 60 home runs in a season with, I don't know baseball that well, but 1,000 at bats. How many at bats do you get? 3 at bats a game? You don't play 300 games.
180, 160 games, something like that. It's a crazy amount of games either way.
This is a music podcast, not a sports podcast. So
yeah, and it's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird. Like I don't even like follow sports, so it's like a weird analogy for me. Like
it makes perfect sense.
So applicable though. We are a podcast of analogies, though. We love.
Yeah, the more metaphors we can stuff into an episode, the better we feel we did. So thank you.
Yeah, it makes sense in some multiverse.
Yeah, there is a more definitely hits home more than others. But okay, so we'll call it between 500 and 600 at bats a year, and you hit 60 home runs, you're a fucking legend. So that's 1 in 10 for the best ever.
That even sounds crazy to me.
That sounds crazy, right? Like, and that really puts it in perspective. Like the best are going to get 1 out of 10. Like, you know, does that apply to music? You know, fully apples to apples? I don't know, but it is a good indication of like the best possible result you can get reasonably could happen 1 out of 10 times if you're doing really well. So write more music.
100%. Yeah. I think it's hard to tell too which will be the home run for each person too. Yeah. Like Dylan really instilled that idea in the early days of like you're not writing for yourself. Like you're writing for yourself in terms of like scratching that itch, but as far as like letting other people judge the art for what it is and like let them relate to it based on their experiences and what they like in music, it's like you don't know what that's going to be for whoever. And like there's so many songs that pop off like a year or two later because it just took the right group of people to find it, or like the record label people that slept on the Beatles or whatever. It's like it wasn't a home run for them, but it was a home run for the rest of the world. So
totally,
who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you are one of the people that I would say has the most credibility for being able to say quality through quantity, because you've had enough time to realize what works and what doesn't.
I like it.